If the forest wanted me dead, it chose the perfect way to do it, by giving me shelter. I'd been walking for hours through the Appalachian woods when the trail vanished under a blanket of fog. No phone signal, no GPS, and my compass needle spun uselessly like it had lost its mind. The silence out there was unnatural, not peaceful, but expectant, like the trees were holding their breath. By the time I realized I'd been circling the same ridge, daylight was dying. I was wet, cold, and starving. The temperature was dropping fast, and the wind sliced through my jacket like paper. Every shadow between the trees looked like a promise of safety, and everyone lied. Then I saw it. A shape too geometric to be natural. A cabin. It sat half swallowed by moss and vines, leaning slightly to one side, its roof intact but glistening with rain. No path led to it, no footprints, just a small clearing that felt wrongly quiet. I called out once. My voice died before it reached the walls. The porch creaked when I stepped on it. The air smelled faintly of iron and wet wood. I hesitated at the door, then pushed. It opened without resistance. Inside, it wasn't abandoned. Not really. No dust, no cobwebs. A cup sat on the table beside a folded blanket. A chair pushed back like someone had just stood up. Everything looked frozen mid-moment. Not old, not new, just paused. My flashlight slid across a kettle on the stove, clean. On the wall hung a jacket, dry and neatly placed. "Hello?" I called, softer this time. Nothing. I walked in further. The floorboards moaned quietly under my boots. There was a small door to the left, probably a bedroom, and another, narrower one toward the back. In the corner, a hatch in the floor with an iron ring. Then I saw it, the notebook. Black leather, edges worn, open on the table. At first, I thought it was a journal. I stepped closer and froze when I saw the name on the first page. My name, Evan Miller. Written neatly in dark ink centered on the page like it belonged there. My heart thudded once, hard. I scanned the room again, half expecting to find a camera, a prank, anything that would make sense. Nothing. Beneath my name, one word stood out. Rules. And below that, a list. 1. Whoever knocks, don't open the door. 2. Don't light the stove after midnight. 3. Don't look out the window after midnight. 4. Don't open the cellar hatch, no matter what happens. 5. Don't open the attic door. My laugh came out thin and nervous. Funny, I muttered. Maybe someone had been writing a story or a warning for campers. The handwriting was steady, serious, not the kind you expect from a joke. Rain hammered the roof harder. I went to the window. The world outside was already drowned in gray. Trees swayed in the wind, their silhouettes blurring with every flash of lightning. I decided I'd stay just for the night, dry my clothes, leave at first light. The cabin was solid, warmer than the woods. It felt safe enough. Or maybe I just wanted to believe it was. When I turned back toward the door, my flashlight caught something on the floor. Small impressions in the dustless wood. Shallow, oval shapes. For a second I thought they were mine, but they were too small. Child-sized. Barefoot. They stopped right in front of the door, pointing inward. I crouched down, touched one. It was cold, almost damp, as if it had been made only hours ago. Probably warped wood, I told myself. Maybe old marks from before the board settled. My voice in my head didn't sound convinced. Outside, the rain slowed to a whisper. Then, from the other side of the door, came a sound that cut straight through the silence. A single, soft knock. Not loud, just once. And whoever, or whatever, was out there, waited. The knock still echoed somewhere behind my ribs. For a long minute, I didn't breathe. Nothing moved. Rain whispered against the roof, soft and steady. Whoever, whatever, had been at the door was gone. I told myself that. I had to. I reread the first line in the notebook. Whoever knocks, don't open the door. Fine. I wouldn't. I locked the bolt, sat down again, and tried to convince myself the air wasn't getting colder. Then it came again. A scrape this time. Slow, dragging, as if something brushed the wood outside. I froze, staring at the door until the sound died. Probably the wind, I thought. The wind, or a tree branch. Minutes passed. I was just starting to breathe normally when another noise rose. This time from beneath me. A faint, hollow thump from under the floorboards. Then another. The sound seemed to travel, a shifting weight, stopping right below where I stood. I stared at the small iron ring set into the floorboards near the corner. The cellar hatch. Rule 4 whispered from memory. Don't open the cellar, no matter what happens. The air felt thicker, heavier. I stepped back slowly, the wood cold even through my boots. Then came the third sound, above. A single creak from the ceiling. Then another, like footsteps moving from one end of the attic to the other. But I hadn't seen stairs, and from outside the cabin there hadn't been a second floor at all. I gripped the flashlight until my knuckles hurt, forcing a laugh that sounded like someone else's voice. Old beams, I whispered. Wind. The wind. Always the wind. The clock on my phone read 12:47 a.m. My hands were shaking. The cold felt alive now, crawling under my skin. I wrapped myself tighter in the blanket, but it was useless. The air itself seemed to leach the warmth out of me. I tried to distract myself by reading the rules again. The letters seemed darker than before, as if the ink had sunk deeper into the page. Don't light the stove after midnight. Don't look out the window after midnight. Easy enough, I thought. Just survive till morning. But time moved strangely here. Each minute stretched, bending, as if the night itself was waiting. By 1:12 a.m., I couldn't stop shivering. My breath hung in front of me like smoke. My fingertips were numb. My jaw clenched so tight it hurt. I pressed my hands to my chest, felt nothing but cold. Just a few minutes, I muttered, just to warm up. The stove sat in the corner, black and patient, a few neat logs stacked beside it. 1:27 a.m. blinked on my phone screen. Rule 2, don't light the stove after midnight. The logic broke then. Rules or not, I was freezing to death. I grabbed the matches from the table, knelt, and opened the stove door. The smell of old ash hit me, dry, metallic. The first match flared and died. My fingers trembled too much. The second caught. Flame licked the wood, orange and alive, spreading fast. The warmth rolled over me like a wave, almost painful after the cold. I exhaled, shuddering in relief. The kind that hurts before it soothes. For the first time in hours, I could feel my hands again. The shadows along the walls seemed to ease back, and for a brief moment, I thought the worst was over. But the fire's glow didn't feel quite right. Too bright, too eager, painting the room in color that didn't belong to the world outside. And as I stared into it, the notebook on the table seemed to tremble slightly, pages fluttering as though from a breath of air that wasn't there. The fire shouldn't have burned that bright. It filled the room with a color that didn't exist in nature, too orange, too alive, flickering like something breathing. The heat came in waves, thick and heavy. My skin prickled. For a while, I just sat there, staring into the flames. The longer I looked, the stranger it felt, like the fire was looking back. The world around me softened. The edges of the room blurred. My thoughts slowed until all I could hear was the rhythmic hum of the fire, pulsing like a heartbeat. Then, outside the window, something flickered. Tiny lights, drifting between the trees. At first I thought they were reflections from the flames, but they moved with intent. Dozens of them, weaving through the dark. Soft, glowing, beautiful. Like fireflies, only larger. I stood up, drawn to them. The cold outside seemed gone, replaced by that impossible golden glow. Rule 3, don't look out the window after midnight. I remembered it, but the rule felt small now, unimportant. I stepped closer. The window pane was icy beneath my fingertips. Beyond the glass, the lights hovered, gentle, shimmering. They reminded me of home, of summer nights, of things that felt safe. I leaned closer. The shapes behind the lights moved, but not like insects. They shifted in slow, deliberate rhythm, almost human. One of them turned toward me. For an instant, I thought I saw a face, pale, childlike, and eyes that glowed like the coals inside my stove. Then the fire behind me popped, and the lights outside vanished. A moment later, 3 knocks, soft patient, and a voice. Small, fragile, familiar. Please, it's so cold out here. The sound crawled through me. I knew that voice. I didn't know how, but I did. The warmth in the room had turned feverish. My head swam. My breath came slow and heavy. It was hard to think, hard to tell what was real anymore. I turned toward the door. The bolt shimmered in the firelight. My hand moved on its own. I barely felt my fingers as they wrapped around it. Please, the voice said again, softer now. It's so cold. I pulled the bolt free. The door swung open before I could react. Not from wind, not from air, but from a force that hit me like a wall. It threw me backward across the room. I hit the floor hard, my flashlight skidding away. The fire roared, exploding in brightness. Shadows twisted up the walls like smoke given shape. Through the glare, I saw it, a figure in the doorway, tall but wrong, edges blurring, eyes glowing white in the dark. It stepped inside and the heat vanished, replaced by a cold that cut straight through me. The world tilted. The figure moved closer. My vision narrowed to those eyes, twin lights hanging in the dark. Then, nothing. 5 days later, the porch creaked again. The door opened. A young man stood in the doorway, his jacket soaked, his face pale from the cold. The cabin was silent, empty. He stepped inside, shaking the rain from his hair. His eyes found the notebook on the table. It lay open, waiting. He picked it up, squinting at the first page. His lips moved as he read the name written there, his own. How could my name already be here?